Here we have a SAT math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. A circular center G and points M and N lie on the circle. Line segments MH and NH are tangent to the circle at points M and N respectively. If the radius of the circle is 150 millimeters and the perimeter of quadrilateral GMHN is 3500 millimeters, what is the distance rounded to the nearest millimeter between points G and H? Okay, first let me draw a figure connected to the given information. Here I've drawn the figure for the given information. Now let me mark the center of the circle G over here. And here MH and NH are the two tangents to the circle at points M and N. Okay, here we have H. And at the point of tangency, always the angle between the radius and the tangent is a right angle. So here we have right angle and here we have right angle. It is given that the radius of the circle is 150 millimeters. We know that this GM represents the radius and this GN also represents the radius. Then the length of this GM is 150. The length of this GN is also 150. Okay, here we have two tangents MH and NH to the circle from the same external point H. Whenever we draw two tangents to a circle from the same external point, then the length of the two tangents must be equal. That is, whatever length we have for MH, the same length we have for NH. Okay, now let me assume X as the length of MH, then the length of NH also must be the same, that is X. And we have the perimeter of the quadrilateral GMHN, that is 3500 millimeters. Usually to get the perimeter of a polygon, what we have to do is we have to add the lengths of all the sides. Okay, now to get the perimeter of this quadrilateral GMHN, let's add the lengths of all the four sides. Then we have X, positive 150, positive 150 equals to 3500. Okay, when I combine X and X, I'm getting 2X. When I combine these two values, I'm getting 300 equals to 3500. Let me subtract 300 from both sides. When I do so, this positive value, negative value will cancel out. I'm getting 2x equals to 3200. Let me divide both sides of the equation by 2. Then this 2 will cancel out. I'm getting x on the left side. When I divide 3200 by 2, I'm getting 1600. Okay, here I got the value of x, that is 1600. Let me replace x in the figure by 1600 and also here 1600. Okay, our aim is to get the distance between the points G and H. Okay, now let me mark the distance with a red color line over here. Okay, now my aim is to get the length of this red color line segment that gives the distance between the points G and H. Now let's consider the right triangle GMH over here. In this right triangle, GH is hypotenuse because it is opposite to the right angle. And also we have the lengths of the other two legs GM and MH. Okay, now let me say y as the length of GH. We can use Pythagorean theorem to get the value of y. That is the length of GH. Okay, let me write the Pythagorean theorem. That is the square of the hypotenuse equals to sum of the squares of other two sides. So 150 square positive 1600 square y square equals to the value of 150 square is 22,500 and the value of 1600 square is 2,560,000. Y square equals to, when I add these two values, I am getting 2,582,500. Our aim is to get the value of y. For that, we have to get rid of this exponent too. Okay, let me take a square root on both sides of this equation. Okay, here this square root and square will cancel out. When I take square root on both sides of an equation, one of the square roots will cancel out, and for the other square root, we have to consider positive or negative sign. But here on the left side, we have y, which gives the length of the line segment GH. The length of a line segment can never be a negative value, so we don't have to consider positive or negative sign for this square root. We can consider only positive sign. Okay, then we get y equals to, when I take square root for this value, I am getting 1607.015. It keeps going. But according to the question, we have to round our answer to the nearest millimeter. That is, we have to round this value to the nearest whole number. Then we get y is approximately 1607. We know that y is the distance between the points G and H. Therefore, the distance between the points G and H rounded to the nearest millimeter is 1607. We find this value in answer choice C. The correct answer choice for this question is C.